Welcome to today's edition of the Reedsville Chamber of Commerce News and Views. I'm your host, Diane Sawyer, president of the Chamber. Welcome to our wonderful guest, Steve Scott with Tri-State Steel.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Other than allergy season and we're like dying over here. Aside from that, everything's fine, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
It's always fine. We're always good.
Yep, we are good. We are good and grateful.
We are very...
On this Friday the 13th for us.
Yeah,
I know
you'll
not
watch
everybody
this
will watch
over.
this another time.
And you might be eating turkey by the time that
Right.
that you're watching later. But for us, it's like the official kickoff of the holiday season. So with all the things.
And Reedsville is exploding with fallness. I don't know what the proper word is, but Summer and the team from the City Works. I mean, downtown Reedsville looks fantastic. It's really exciting.
It is really exciting, and I am really excited about the fact that we are here today, and typically I would also interview Summer at some point after this, and she's already getting the Christmas decorations, which is where she is. She's always about 3 steps ahead, so it's exciting. Fall is beautiful.
Yep.
The Christmas decorations are going to be awesome. They're just going to get bigger and better. So
And it's fun to watch. I drive through downtown, and you'll see people out getting their pictures taken and doing things, and you're like, it's fun to watch the downtown come alive and for people to enjoy it. It means a lot as a local business person to see your hometown buzzing, and it's fun.
Yeah, and it's like Main Street USA all over again, and it's something that doesn't cost the families anything.
Right.
If they don't want it to, and it will. They will come out and spend money, and they will visit our shops and our restaurants. Speaking of restaurants,
It's a pretty exciting week in Reedsville.
it's a very exciting week. We have an authentic Cuban and Colombian restaurant
in
downtown Reedsville.
And they have lines going out the door. They have sold out.
After lunch.
Yes, and they are the nicest people, like unbelievably nice people. I've not had the food yet, but I've heard it is phenomenal.
So good.
And I can't wait to taste the coffee. That's what I really want. But everybody I've talked to is like, it's so good. And they're just such good people. Like go support them.
They're the best.
Come downtown, get your picture taken with all the pumpkins, pretend you're Charlie Brown in the Great Pumpkin, and go get some Cuban food and just enjoy our community. And we've got our brewery back open, and there's just a lot of fun things happening over the next few weeks in Reedsville, and I'm excited about it.
Me too. I'm very excited now that we're coming through this allergy season and sick season. And somebody the other day said, I think that the flu and I think that strep and all the things are trying to rival and have their spot back in the limelight since COVID.
They want to be part of the news cycle again.
Yeah, right.
We're like, no, we're going to talk about Cuban restaurants and breweries and festivals and all kinds of the Fab Festivals coming.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah.
The Fab Festival is lining up to be phenomenal. There are a ton of vendors, a ton of food trucks, breweries, wineries. The Chamber, we're going to have our beer garden and sell our wine slushies, which have become like the thing. So that is October the 21st in downtown Reedsville. Streets are going to be closed, Scale Street, and we'll be at Market Square and come up the street, and the shops will be open, and it's just going to be a good
I just
time.
hope that the weather's as perfect as it is today, because if it is, downtown Reedsville, you will not be able to move. It will be fantastic. And one of my favorite events is also coming up, which is the downtown trick or treat, which is I take my friend Star from here at the visitor center, and we set up tables outside the chamber. And I think there's some folks going to push in on our turf with us, but it's all right. We love them too. My little ducks that come along with me that you and I tease about. But we set up tables. The whole community comes out, gives out candy. There are ghosts and goblins and ghouls everywhere. And if I'm not mistaken, that is on Friday the 27th. And so that will be so much fun, because we were so successful at it last year that they this year are going to shut down for safety reasons, the streets and just let the kids run wild. And
Yeah.
we gave out so much candy last year. It was crazy. We had lines, and Star and I were laughing. We had the best time. So that's coming up. And the day before that, we have the event. So I'm super excited
The main
about
event.
that. Your event.
The main event.
That I get to play a part in.
So we are so excited to be having our 14th annual Reedsville Business Expo and Job Fair. Second year back since pandemic. Really tough time. Not being able to have things that mean so much to us and so much to the community and just help create. I can't even put a number on the buzz and the connectivity and the relationships and the projects and just the things that happen that we see fostered over the holiday season after this event, and then it turns into all the things that happen next year.
Did you mention that the Reedsville, I never get this right, Reedsville Showcase, Business Showcase, Expo, Job Fair, whatever the heck it is, event is sold out for vendors this year?
But it is sold out.
Congratulations
Thank
to you and to your team. It's a big deal. 2 years ago, it was virtual. It was physically left for dead, although y'all worked incredibly hard to pull it off. 2 years later, sold out. It's free to the public, if I'm not mistaken.
It is free to the public.
Probably through good sponsorships.
It is through good
Pat myself on the
sponsorships.
back there.
Thank you to Tri-State
there you
Steel for
go.
being our name and sponsor.
But talk about what that means to you 2 years after we were all struggling just to survive, to have our community come together like this in such a huge event in right next to our high school. Like, it's just, I think it's going to be spectacular.
It's kind of a loaded question there, Steve. You know, most people know, if you've been watching for long, you know that most of the time we cut up and carry on the show. There's a few times that I get emotional. This is probably another time that I really think about how different things are. My brother and I were actually having this conversation yesterday about just the fast pace of things right now and life in general and kids. And we were like, oh man, you know, what we wouldn't give to be back at home during COVID, like breathing and not be on the fast track side. But that's a lie for me too at the same time, because right. I crave the interactions and the people and doing what we do. And while we were super successful during the pandemic and we were able to bust our butts and get people what they needed and the information they needed, it's just not the same as being in person. And
it's not as celebratory.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
This event is like a celebration.
It is.
It's so much fun.
It is. And it was truly soul crushing to have to continue to cancel events. And this one is my favorite. This one's like my pet project. This is the one that when I came to the chamber, I was like, do we have one of these events? And if so, what does it look like? And, you know, 10 years ago, we were dancing to Thriller outside of Plastic Revolution's building in little bitty office spaces trying to make this event work. And now we're selling out gymnasiums and churches. So
it's funny because I was there and it was part of the robotics team.
It was, that's right.
And that's when Hotbots was such a huge deal in the community, and they were fighting for world championships from little old Reedsville High School, and it felt like a big event then. And kudos to Plastic Revolutions for being so generous to the community to opening it up. But that event, I look back on it now and I'm like, we have survived hurricanes, we have survived pandemics.
Oh my gosh.
And here we are now, and there's almost not a building in town that can host us.
No, there's really not.
It's incredible.
It's a huge
it
struggle.
Is incredible.
It is, and it's funny. Some of my memories are not so good. Like you said, the year of the hurricane, I had to put my dog to sleep that day, and
that was a rough day.
It was a rough day. It was a rough, and as you well know, there
was water
There's
pouring
water
down the streets of our
pouring down the
community.
streets. I was literally standing outside barefoot, bawling, crying with a migraine, missing my dog, my 15-year-old dog that I'd gotten when I was in college, like my first real pet that was mine. And people are calling and we're trying to, like, they're like, the weather's awful. And like people, I remember somebody lost a side view mirror on their vehicle and we had to cancel it and shut it down. And then it was a beautiful day like today on the next day when it was. And so that's when it was a 2-day event. And so I will say post-pandemic, we're still at a 1-day because, and you and I talk about these things, like we're in this fine line of this place where people want to be involved and they need things. They need people, which is why we're doing the event. And they need resources, but they can't commit resources to invest to try to get to those resources. So
we're in that boat for this year's event.
Yeah.
I will be, and matter of fact, one of the reasons that we will look differently from our booth is because we don't have the resources to bring to it. So I will be flying solo all day long at this event. Well, it is a long event from the setup to the close for those of us who are vendors. So I pulled my buddy Eden Combs in, and so Realty One Realty, whatever the name of that group is, she's fantastic. She is so high energy. And so she and I are combining forces because she's super stretched thin that day too. So
y'all are gonna blow the roof off that place.
It's gonna be so much fun. She is such a firecracker, and I just think the world of her. And so for Tri-State Steel and Eden to work together, Star's going to be with us right across. And so when you walk into this event, you're going to be greeted by my smiling face. You're going to be greeted by Star, who's a professional greeter. Eden's going to be there. And then that energy, we hope, is going to carry you through the whole event. We had the best time last year. We were singing Rocky Top and eating cheesecake from the Boardwalk Baker, and the whole place was just alive. And we personally had success hiring. We have an employee now at Tri-State Steel as a part of our sales team specifically because of the event last year that we would not have had if it were not for the job fair and expo last year. If you put in the effort, if you work hard, if you present your company well, this event will bring you the success that you want, whatever it is that you're looking for. You have to know what you're looking for. You know, if it's just to get your name out there, well, then you have to put the effort in to get your name out there. If you're looking for employees, you have to come prepared. You can't just sit behind a desk and hope that some magic pixie dust falls on you and somebody comes in and it's the best employee ever. You've got to let it be known. You've got to do your part, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But it is fun. It is high energy. The food is good. It's just a good time, and it's sold out. That goes to show you how engaged this community is right now. And I think whether we're talking about the pumpkins decorating downtown, the job expo, the trick-or-treating, we are just a very engaged community right now, and it's a fun time to be in Reedsville.
It really is, and you know, it's funny because we're scheduling my goodness, we've got a ton of ribbon cuttings coming up too, and there's a couple of really cool things that have happened. Not only did we open a local, authentic Cuban restaurant that we just said, but we're opening some chains. Like the guys over at Jersey Mike's.
And they are super great people too.
They are awesome people.
And they are so generous. Like they literally were giving away things in the community before they ever even opened their doors.
Yeah, and they supported the Reedsville Tigers as a local nonprofit. Very generous donation to them. But coming along that path, we've got several things. Carolina Quick Care. I just had to take my son this week. Phenomenal service. Phenomenal setup. They've got these 3 ladies on their marketing team that are all over the state of North Carolina. I met with them this week. They are planning the biggest, all out Monday the 30th. So you come trick or treat on Friday, but on Monday the 30th, you can come trick or treat with them. They are having a ribbon cutting at 4, and until 7 p.m., they are going to be doing trunk or treat, huge Halloween celebration, jump house, and all the things. Which is great because school's out that day. It's a day out for school for Rockingham County Schools. And so leading into Halloween, we're going to get those kids so jazzed up and send them to school on Tuesday.
Well, that's exciting because in that same thought process at the Tri-State Steel retail store on Sunday night, the 29th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we are also having a trunk or treat. And we are going to have one of the local Jeep clubs there with their rock hopping Jeeps that are going to be parked all cattywampus on our hillside. It'll be a drive-through situation to keep everybody safe. And we have local companies coming out to join us at the retail store, and our employees are going to dress up and have a good time. So if you haven't seen, I don't know how you could have missed that if you haven't seen it, but it's all over social media. So we expect the corner of Richardson Drive and Reed School Road to be a little busy on Sunday night.
So let's go back and recap. So if you come out on Thursday's the Business Expo, South Park Drive. Come see us, interact with the businesses, find out about jobs, find out about programs. We're going to have all kinds of performances, mascots, cheerleaders. It's going to be a big party. It's going to be wild. Friday, come trick-or-treating downtown.
Yep.
Saturday is the haunted event at the lake. So they're doing the trail and all of that stuff. They said it is not suitable for probably kids under 10, so it is going to be fun.
Right.
That's happening on Saturday. Come trick or treat at Tri-State Steel on Sunday. Come to Carolina Quick Care on Monday, and then Tuesday do the Halloween
Tuesday,
thing.
I am glad I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we apologize, Rockingham County Schools and
then
Bethany
Wednesday
community.
and probably the rest of the week.
Yeah, we apologize to all of you fine folks who are out there trying to educate our kids, because we're probably doing them a disservice, but we're going to have a good time doing it.
Yeah, so enjoy your early release on Friday and your day off on Monday, because it's going to be wild.
Right.
But this, I mean, and that's just Halloween. That's just fall. That's just October. So many things to come.
Yeah, and the Fab Festival's in there somewhere
yes,
too.
and so the weekend before is
Right.
going to be the Fab Festival, which I am so excited about. That's just a fun, like, it's a now event. Like, kudos to Reedsville for going, hey, food truck festivals are in, artisans are in, breweries are in. Let's do this Fab Festival. And that started on a Sunday afternoon, on a lazy Sunday afternoon, pre-pandemic, and it's just grown and developed, and I'm really excited to see what it turns into.
I think you and I have talked about this so many times, and we've sat in these very chairs and talked about this. You have to celebrate life. You have to celebrate your victories. You have to be willing to look at the good. There's so much that you can get distracted by. And I think this is just being able to count off the calendar in Reedsville and go, man, there's so many fun things to be engaged in. Go get engaged. Go celebrate life. Go be a part of it, because there's just so much to celebrate.
There is so much to celebrate, and I would be remiss if I didn't say part of that celebration is that we're winding up the 150th year celebrations with Reedsville. They're doing something that very day out at the lake on the 28th to celebrate for that. And I'm just proud of where we are right now. And that leads me to, there's elections coming up and the candidates forum, and we're going to be hosting that on Monday, the 23rd at the Reedsville Event Center.
And there are a lot more people running for office than traditionally have, which goes back to, I think, the city's very energized. There are people who are like, I want to be involved in this, or I want to bring my expertise to this. I want to be able to help this energy continue to go, and so that's pretty exciting. About the city's 150th birthday, that has been a really cool thing. They've fought the weather every event.
Oh my gosh,
seems like.
It's been insane.
And
we're both very proud sponsors of that.
We are, and Tri-State Steel is celebrating our 35th anniversary here in Reedsville. At the same time, the community's celebrating their 150th, and that has been fun. When I was approached about, hey, would you be willing to celebrate this? I was like, absolutely, we need to be. This community has been so good to us, and we know that it is our responsibility to give back. It's successful selling of metal means nothing if we don't engage with our community. The successful selling of metal is the conduit with which we are able to help our community and give back to our community, and it's super important to me. And so being involved in all these things, we say metal matters. That's our hashtag, right? And people are like, what does that mean? And I'm like, we just sat here and talked about it. all the things that we're engaged with you, with the city, with the community, with the softball team, with the band, whatever it is, metal matters. And we want our community to understand that we know we're successful because of the community that we live in. And it's exciting.
It's very exciting. I think, people know, right? They know that the chamber is where to go for information. They know that Tri-State Steel is where to go for metal. They also know that Tri-State Steel is where to go to be engaged, because people who are smart, people who are leaders, people who are growing their business know that they need to surround themselves with people who know what's happening, who know what's going on, who know how to be all the things. And at one time you used to look at me and say, people are tired of hearing about Steve.
Roy and I were just having that conversation.
I was like, but
I call it fatigue.
But it's not Steve Scott fatigue. It is we're sucking that energy that you put out into our world and trying to put out our own. And so it's kind of like that energy process, and you have it figured out. And if people could just understand, Eden has it figured out. Like, it's tiring though.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Yeah. And I see you guys at your worst moments too. I see you when you're dirty and tired in a t-shirt because you've been working. This version that people are going to see on TV is not really what we see of Steve every day.
I sometimes have to come into meetings not looking professional.
Right.
Because duty calls. And
absolutely.
And part of my responsibility, having the success that we've had, which we've been really successful. Part of my responsibility is to give back. And the best way I can give back is to engage in these events. But really the better way to give back is to the next group of leaders, to be available to all of you, to be available to my employees, to say, hey, the bar's up here. Let's go get this and let's do it right. And yes, I understand you're frustrated, and I understand you're having a bad day, and I understand that it's tough, but you need to bring the leading edge energy that's going to create the change that we want to create, whether that's within Tri-State Steel. If we're having a bad day, somebody in my leadership team needs to change the energy. It's their job. That's what they're supposed to do, and we have trained them to do that. And I try to do that with Eden and Justin and Victoria and Diane and this really powerful group of what I think are young leaders that have allowed me to be a part of y'all's life. It's exciting for me. My kids are grown and gone, and so I have this next group of people that I get to, y'all allow me to be a part of your lives, and I'm humbled by that. It's I don't take that lightly, It's an invitation for y'all to allow me to give things to you, and it's fun. Like Eden and I were at the Kiwanis meeting. I made she and Justin join Kiwanis with me, and you're a part of the Kiwanis group, and so Lyle said, hey, we need some young energy, and I was like, I got you, right? And so I was like, okay, y'all are joining Kiwanis, and they're like, oh, okay. But they're engaged, and they're like coming up with ideas to help change the lives of children, and it makes me really proud. I'm super proud of all of you. I'm super proud of what y'all are doing and trying to make a difference, and it's fun. It's fun to engage with your kids about softball or whatever. It's a good time.
That's what I was going to say too. I think for us though, right, like the feeling is mutual. I want my kids to, it truly does take a village. And so you're a part of my village, and you're a part of my kids' village. And I want them to already be trained, right? Like, I don't want them to be adults and I'm having to train about how to be engaged in their community or how to know what's going on, because that's my job. And I feel like every single day we're just trying to get people to not be living under rocks, like to figure out how to engage in their community, how to know what's going on, how to talk about the good stuff, how to help fix the things that they think are the bad stuff or the things that could be better. Whether that's Kiwanis or whether it's running for city council or whether it's being just a better business owner and, or a mentor, or whether it's something like junior achievement or, and I want my kids, and like mom and dad don't know anything. So they have to hear it from
I still
other
don't
people.
know anything, right?
Yeah, of course not. But you're responsible for that lab this weekend. So
Exactly.
you don't know anything, but you can keep a dog alive.
Right.
But I mean, truly, right? Like they go to school and they hear from their teachers and they come home and they want your help with something, and then you try to help them and you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So like for me, it's really important that they hear it from other successful people, that they understand that they are people. They're little people, but they're people too. And so I think that what we've created here in this space, in this visitor center, in this chamber, in this community, is these relationships. Because to me, at the end of the day, nothing beyond the relationships matter.
No, they don't. That's it. Like, they don't. We were playing softball in this office not too long ago, right? Virtual softball, but there was not an actual ball being hit. But we were running bases and the whole bit. Not too long after that, your kids walked into my office and plunked themselves down, and I don't even know what we were doing. We were just goofing off. Those are the things that make a community. Those are the things that attach memories. And we have to be willing to give people that space. The visitor center is really good at that. I'm so grateful that the city bought into the vision about what the Reedsville Visitor Center could be. It is at the intersection in downtown Reedsville. It's open, it's welcoming. And if you've never been here, if you've never spent time in this office, you cannot imagine the number of times that doorbell chimes. People walking into the office. It's a very welcoming thing, and that's what builds community. And I think that's kind of the whole idea of what we've been talking about, is there's all these things, there's all this energy. And I'll give Summer a lot of credit. She is pushing it. Like, she is like, we are going to do these things. And Summer's energy is super contagious. She's been very helpful to us as a business person. I had a businessman from Greensboro reach out to me this past week and said, hey, we are moving toward the shores of Lake Hunt. We have 4 businesses in Greensboro, and we want to engage in our community. He and I know each other from some other things. He's like, you're the logical person to reach out to. Can you connect me? I sent an email to Summer, copied him, and immediately those two connected. And she's like, when you're ready, you just let me know. How great is that? That is what small towns are all about.
You can't duplicate Summer. She is very special.
Yeah, she's super contagious.
She's very contagious.
She drives a big old vehicle, and I drive a big old vehicle, and we literally clogged up the road the other day because we saw each other, and we both rolled down the window and were like, hey, blah, 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 blah. But she's that contagious. So I want people to be aware of the leadership in this community. The Diane, Sawyer at the chamber, the Summer at the city. This place is open for business if you're willing to make intentional efforts to proactively communicate. There's a great deal of success to be had in this community. And if you don't believe it, just look at the line at the Cuban restaurant to bring this thing full circle, right?
Absolutely. We would be remiss. I know we've talked about it this morning, but speaking of being super successful, I just want to mention how awesome it was to be at the Triad Business Journal's Fast 50 event with you to celebrate not only as the chamber president, but as your friend and as somebody who is just so grateful and super thankful of what you do in this community. Number 13, Steve. I still really feel like It's not real. On Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
we don't usually date our shows, but we'll say it. Today's Friday the 13th, and we're celebrating Tri-State Steel being number 13 in the Triad area region and one of the fastest growing companies. Like, it's insane.
It's kind of crazy. Cannot talk about this without mentioning Lee Cockrum and the team at Rockingham County Economic Development. Carrie's great. They reached out to us. I'd never considered the award. They reached out to us and said, hey, we would think that you should participate in this. We didn't hear anything about it, never really gave it any thought. And out of the blue, we got an email saying, hey, you are part of this organization, you're part of the Fast 50. We'll need to engage you with all these things. And I did not know what a big deal it was. I really didn't. So we went along with it, and the mayor came, and Summer came, and you came, and John Colasar came, and Chris Reed came, and of course our fearless leader Brittany from Tri-State Steel came, and her husband Daniel, and my wife Cheryl, and man, we had a good time. It was quite an event. It was spectacular, and we had a great time representing our community. And I'd never been to one. I didn't realize that they counted down from 50 to the number one. And it got to like 30. And Chris Reed was looking at me like, because he's so silly. And he was like making all these goofy comments and stuff. And I was like, maybe they forgot about us. And it was a pretty cool moment for me, having purchased the business from our family and right as COVID hit in 2020, and that was an incredibly scary time. I was like, this was the worst decision I could have ever possibly made in my life. And I thought we were going to lose everything. And it's a 3-year running award. So we went from January 1st of 2020, which is when I bought the company, to 2023, and that's the cumulative measures that they were using. And for us to be the 13th fastest growing privately held company in the region, and to get to celebrate that and watch Brittany walk up on stage as the representative of our company and have our community there supporting us it was a good day.
It was such a good day.
It was a good day.
It was such a good day.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that.
Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of it.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun to celebrate. We had a great time.
It was. And it also, I think, goes to say really clearly, this is a community where you can be very successful, and there's nothing holding you back. So, if you want to talk about those things, if you want to have an opportunity to discuss how does this work, I'll be at the expo, right? I'll be there front and center. So come visit us and come talk to us, and let's talk about doing business in this community. And our company will grow because it grows, right? Every time there's infrastructure growth in our community, we get to benefit from that. So
absolutely,
it's exciting times.
It is. Well, we are way out of time.
Shocking.
So who is shocked? Not me. All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you want to share anything that maybe we didn't get to share?
No, I'm good.
And we can find you at the one of many offices that you have.
You can find me here. You can find me at 643 Tamco Road, 2513 Richardson Drive. You find me at the Business Expo. I'm not hard. I'm like Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. I'm not hard to find.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
It's always
You're a
my
busy
pleasure.
man, and I appreciate you taking time to talk about all the things.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you can find us in the heart of downtown Reedsville at 140 South Scale Street, or on our social media channels, or online at www.reedsvillechamber.org. That's it for today, and we'll see you soon.